fellow champions of Africa. I'm glad to have the opportunity to address you this morning. I'm happy because we have an opportunity to examine a continent that we love. It cannot be denied that Africa is a continent that has always had potential. Indeed, as early as 1963, when the Organization of African Unity was established in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the leaders of the day were clear in their mind that Africa had to pull herself by her bootstraps. And that is why the organization was established and now continues to operate as the African Union. But there is a sense in which the continent of Africa has continued to punch below her weight. She punches below her weight in the political arena, she punches below her weight in the economic arena, and she punches below her weight even in matters of a social nature. Which begs the question, what is the problem? We know that there have been numerous initiatives, both homegrown and others influenced from outside, to ensure that Africa grows. Who will not remember that as early as 1975, we had the Lomé Agreement, which involved African countries and the Caribbean countries and the Europeans with a view to ensure that Africa could rise. After the Lomé Agreement, we had the Cotonou Agreement in the year 2000. We'll also remember that even prior to that, we had the Lagos Plan of Action of 1980, whose declared agenda was to ensure that intra-African trade was improved and to ensure that Africa would be liberated from the chains and shackles of poverty, hunger, and disease. We know that that did not serve as well. We also had the new Partnership for Development in the 2000s, and we know that is still alive and well. But yet there is a sense in which we continue not to realize the things that we deserve, even when we think that we have properly diagnosed our problems. Which begs the question, as I've already said, what is it that we are not doing right, and what is it that we must do right going forward? As a young African, I read for the first time in 1977 the great Nigerian writer's book, Things Fall Apart, written in 1958. And I remember so very distinctly that the great Chinua derived his title from the famous poem written by the Irish poet W.B. Yeats, The Second Coming. And I remember these words so very distinctly. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the earth. Sometimes one feels that that is the state of Africa, but yet we cannot afford the luxury of giving up. And that is why you champions of Africa are assembled here today with a view to re-energizing ourselves as we must, to ensure that our continent is a player at the dinner table of civilization, not as food to be eaten or waiters to look at others as they eat, but as a diner to participate in a meaningful way. So today, mine is to urge us to remember that we have a call of duty, and it gladdens my heart that in the recent past, the African Union has been in the forefront of championing some of the initiatives which I think will catapult the continent into the orbit of socio-economic and political development. That is how I understand Agenda 2063. Agenda 2063 in many ways is no different from what was promised us by the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals. But its beauty is its Afrocentricity. We are telling ourselves that as Africans we must have African solutions to African problems, and that we can do the things that we desire in a manner that is uniquely African, so that we can improve our agriculture, so that we can improve our industries, so that we can improve our health. Many of you here will remember that African countries have times without number analyzed our problems. In the aviation sector, the Yamoussoukro Protocol is designed to open the African skies. What we are saying, let us implement it. The Abuja Protocol enjoins African countries to spend no less than 15% of their budget in the health sector. The Maputo Protocol recognizes the role of young people and women. Africa can achieve, and that is why I take the view that the time is now. The time is now to do that which is right. And once again, I'm reminded of yet another great Nigerian writer, Wole Soyinka, who famously said that the tiger does not proclaim its tigritude, it pounces. You follow the path of a tiger and you see the skeleton of a duiker and you know that some tigritude has been emanated there. This is the time for Africa to do rather than to talk. And even if she talk, because talk she must wed her words with her deeds. And ladies and gentlemen, Africa must heal its past. It can be done, it must be done, and we are the ones who must do it. God bless you.